All right, good morning. Today we're gonna start tearing into the Highline project. Where to cut the hood. We thought we were gonna have to cut it like right up here on this top line where my fingernail is, but it looks like we're probably gonna have to start off cutting a little bit lower down here and then kind of take away material as needed to make it fit right. Already got the hood pins, so that's good, something we don't have to worry about. So I've never done a Highline project on a TJ before, so this is definitely going to be a learning process for me personally. Got the hood off. Next we got to tackle this puppy. Kind of want to raise it so it'll clear this factory inner fender. I think it's that way as well for the aftermarket too. So yeah, we'll definitely have to bend this AC line some way or another, so we'll figure that out. But I guess the main goal is just to get these fenders out first. So that's the basic concept here, is to pretty much just kind of rip all this stuff out and find a way to do it, and I'll let you guys know what I run into. Well, never mind, I'll just go ahead. Yeah, okay, so we've got the back side of these, so I'm gonna get those. All right, I got this moved out of the way. Just little pull tabs, stuck a flathead in there, ripped it out, no big deal. This is for the winch. Definitely probably should have taken the battery out first, but no big deal. We gotta take the PCM out to get to these bolts under here, so. All this is out really simple, really quick. It didn't take long at all. So I'm gonna get this kind of wedged over here somewhere. That should be okay for now. Get to pulling this off. So, kind of trying to put all these bolts back where they go. Might get a new winch soon anyway, so don't know if that one's gonna be staying. Yeah, like I said, only one bolt holding it up, so we've got more. All right, we'll have to take out these bolts as well. What we're running into here is battery box needs to come out. And a lot of people are saying that, you know, for this extending out so far, that it won't fit or work. But since we have the moto belt one, it only uses those two middle bolts. Like this, you know, all this material right here, if we can trim this off, because all we need is the mounting, you know, these two bolts. All right, so I'm under here. As you can see, dirt's falling in my eyes. I'm taking out the bolts for the battery support. Now we can start working with it. I think the first thing I'm gonna do, the dirt line where the hood was, that's where we're gonna cut. So kind of go in here so we have the support still to bolt it up to the grill. Yeah, not too bad. That was, I guess, about 45 minutes of work there. There's a lot of little stuff we have to do, like we have to kind of go back through here and thread all these bolts because I think some of them were having a hard time threading. So we're gonna make sure all these go in. It looks pretty cool like this. It looks like a project. little bit cleaner. That's definitely a better workable space. So we got those hoses, all the wire looming, all that good stuff, top of the frame. Something I didn't really think about before was this conjoining pinch seam metal. So I had to cut on the back side of the inner fender right here. And then this is like the line of the fender flare that I cut on. So there's nothing really conjoining these. This just separated. This was not attached. So once I cut right here, the inner support that goes on the grill that's supposed to be right here was not actually attached to here. So those are like separate pieces. So little change of plans. Went ahead and mocked it up, moved it up one hole on there, and it didn't line up. So the fender was like sitting right up here. And I was like, yeah, that's not right. So kind of got a little idea, marked the hole on the fender. I think we got to drill some holes and see if that lines up. So alrighty guys, so I've got a couple holes drilled on this fender right here. You guys can see there's the new hole and there's the new hole. So I got 2 so far. I just had to go up like that much. I think maybe like an inch total is like where it was actually drilled into. From flexing from that crack that was there from the previous owner. There's a lot of Bondo under here too. So once we started cutting all this, it started flexing and nice. Yeah, there's the fender panel line up. So it lines up with that line there after we drilled those holes. So once the hood is on, it should line up with this line. I don't know where this inner fender is going to bolt into behind the grill here. AC line, just had to tweak it a little bit really to get it to fit so far. Haven't really had to do too much else to it. So all right, so the battery support is all trimmed. Bent some metal back after we trimmed it all, and we're going to drill holes in that and use it for support for the inner fender. So here we cut out some little plates of aluminum out of a scrap piece, drill some holes, got some bolts that'll fit. Basically what we're going to end up doing here is kind of put the inner fender right there where it wants to be, drill the holes. You get the idea. Okay, starting to make some progress on the fitment. This fender panel is going to have to be replaced at some point. Obviously, just the amount of Bondo and separation and cracking that's happened, and obviously the ginormous hole there. So I thought I was going to be cutting, you know, on the outside on the fender flare line, but apparently that was too much. So to conjoin these two on the inside where the pinch seam is, that's gonna be the goal for that one, and then we'll probably end up replacing this one. So bent the inner fender in a Z formation to kind of clear the battery tray. So that's going to fit now. As you can see, it's just barely fitting in there, squeezed in there pretty much. So, and we've got a little temporary aluminum bracket here for the bolts to kind of hold the inner fender. The angle of this here, so we got the hood sitting flat, put a little mark right there so that way I'll know where that will be. All right, so drilled some small holes right here once it was lined up, and I got some self-tapping screws. So alright, so the inner fender is now painted. Pretty much what took most of the time today was figuring everything out, all the little stuff, going back and forth, you know, test fitting it, didn't work, pull it off, redo it, and clean even more on this side because there is a lot more grime on this side for some reason. Looks like there was some residue of some kind of oil or something over time, and mud got kind of caked on there, as you guys can see. So this side's pretty much all cleaned up, all painted up, got all this painted to where it needs to be. gonna go ahead and put the retaining bracket up here on top. So that way we'll be ready to put the PCM back in. I think a lot of people kind of like zip tie it up to this crossbar right here. Wherever is the most natural fit for the wiring harness, because I don't want to strain any of these wires. Definitely made a huge mess on the ground trying to rinse everything out. So pretty much every hose, and I really tried to get, you know, the wire limbing too. Really made a big difference. So when all this stuff goes back in, it's gonna look a lot nicer. Stuff like this, you know, just really went to town, scrubbed it, soaked it and scrubbed it, and picked. It looks a ton better than that. We actually did order, as we explained previously, the Poison Spider Highline fenders, but for some reason the order got canceled, so thought we'd try the DIY. So that didn't really work out. So we ordered Moto built Highline fenders. They're basically like the EXO shell of the outer fender, I guess, if that makes sense. And we've already got the stock inners that we're making work and trim it up, so it should work pretty nice. This is our original TJ from like 7 years ago, so it's pretty cool to finally be able to dig into it and really get a deep clean on it and get a good idea of everything, you know, kind of like the back of your hand, just the whole foundation, all the wiring, all the plumbing, just pretty much everything that makes it up. So